So I'm super curious. First of all, I'm not sure if I should be driving and recording myself at the same time, but I'm kind of curious what your reaction is to all of this, because everybody has defaults. My default, I don't like getting backed into a corner, and so I come up fighting. And so we, at Venue Church, we create new teams, and we're really hammering this virtual experience. We think it's the opportunity Christ has been waiting for in our society right now. But here's a question for you. What do you do, and what's your default in crisis? My wife's default, and I love her, and she's awesome. My wife's default is to curl up into a ball and go to sleep. So there was a time when, and that pains me because our defaults are kind of, neither of them really help. I come up fighting and Erin just freezes and falls asleep. She used to, in the middle of arguments, fall asleep sometimes. I'd be like, hey, I'm having a fight here, and I'm so into this right now because I love you and love this relationship enough to fight for it. And she would just fall asleep. I'm not saying that all of that was a good thing. That's just my thing. But what my idea in this here is that we've never had a better chance, I think, to realize what our defaults are in this thing. And if you know your defaults, then at least it can avoid you. Here's what society says: be a well-rounded person and figure all of this out, and so have no weaknesses, right? That's not how God made you. God made you with strengths, and God made you with weaknesses. The solution to my weaknesses is recognizing that they're there and getting somebody else in my weak spot, my blind spot, so that I can be strong, because if I try to level up my weaknesses, it takes my strengths down, and that's not going to help me. God made me really good at 2 or 3 things in my life. For me, I'm focused. I can see what's going on underneath the thing. So it's always been a gift of mine that I can just kind of tell what's going on, like really, so that we can deal with the root issue of the thing. Now, that makes me kind of surgical. So when I'm counseling people, I always laugh because I think I'm a terrible counselor. My wife says I'm great, but to me, I'm like, I'm not going to cry when you tell me hard things. I'm going to be like, good, pain, now you have the energy you need to move forward. Let's cut the cancer out and let's move on. My wife is the one she's the therapist, and she'll teach you how to walk again, and she'll love on you, and she'll cry with you. And to me, a week later, I can't remember what I said in the first place, and so I have a team come around me and get around my weaknesses. My big idea is the solution to your weakness. Yes, you need to not be in a place where you're constantly operating out of your weakness, but there are some things you're never going to be good at. You need people to get in there so that you can bring your gifts and your strengths to them. But you need to depend on other people's gifts, because you're no good at some things and you never will be, which means my wife sits in my blind spot sometimes and is like, here's how people are thinking. That's why they're responding that way. Sometimes I'm going to sound like the world's worst pastor here, but particularly in Canada, because we're supposed to be nice. But sometimes I'm like, they're acting like idiots because they're stupid, Erin. That's what the problem is. And she's like, no, they come from a broken family, that they're just reacting to the way that they grew up. And you would too if you were like that. And I realized, right. She's right about that. But she saw something that maybe I would never see in that way. She comes along people in this moment. She comes along people and emotionally connects with them. Now, the bad thing about that is that she's on whoever's team is right in front of her, whether they're trying to take something from her or not. And so that's where I step in, and I'm like, that person is going to try to destroy your life, even if they don't want to. That's what they're going to try to do. So let me help you out here. Let me make you wise and try to bring safety to you. But the beauty about this is, now we have to guard our heart, people, right now, because they are susceptible to the emotion floating out there. It's not just information out there right now on social media, it's emotion. The emotion is catching on, and you have to be careful that you guard yourself against fear. Good information will give you action steps to do, and that gives you a place to channel fear and energy. But 50,000 inputs, all that does is make you afraid, and then you'll either freeze or you'll panic and go out and do the wrong things. Both of those items will land you in the wrong spot. People right now are spending money that they don't have to stockpile stuff that they don't need to, and it's a little bit ridiculous. And so I'm just thinking of this place in the Bible where it talks about the body of Christ all being together, and how God made some people to be eyes and he made some people to be this and that. And then in the Message translation, the paraphrase, it says, he did this so that you would not think that your part is blown up into some weird deformed thing, so that you think that it's all about you. Well, this is the time where you realize that life is not all about you. Your success in the future is not all about you. Beating your fear, you will not be able to do it by yourself right now. You need the gifts of other people right now. How do we connect when we're all isolated in our homes right now. I think that the solution, we found some, and there's great churches out there doing a lot of great stuff, is the venue here on YouTube. Subscribe to this channel, but also venuechurch.ca. You can join a small group from wherever you live in the world, and we can be face-to-face and screen-to-screen now. Because you have the time and you have no other distractions. We can do this and actually build community right now in a way we've never been able to do it before, where you actually start getting help from outside of you and you start bringing your gift to other people. And I'm telling you, it's a thing of magic. And anyways, we'll see you soon.